Hi everybody. Hope you are having a super day. Today we're chatting about why it takes so long to get a custom saddle made. And I think it's not a question that was actually sent in, but it's a question that has been asked a lot. And I know there's always grumblings about why is it taking so long or why does it take so long. So we just wanted to talk about it a little bit because it's interesting. It's an interesting process, and two, because if the saddle makers could get them out quicker, they would. You know, I don't think it's not intentionally taking
not even just saddle makers,
forever.
You know, like
dealers,
bit
too.
makers, and
Yeah,
everything.
everything. Yeah, for sure. So if you have questions as we go, you can leave those for us in the comments wherever you're finding us, and we'll try to get to those, or we'll try to swing back around and get to them after the fact if you're watching a replay. But we wanted to just chat a little bit about the timeline of saddles and why it takes so long. So do you know how long it takes any other saddle makers to... like we deal with Bob's Custom Saddles, but do you know how long it takes any other saddle makers to get saddles made? Like you've dealt for...
I was going to say, somebody said brands? Martin's was out almost a year, wasn't it?
Year and a half, yeah.
Year and a half?
Yeah.
There's a few different ones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know all of them. But any of the legitimate ones are all out, half a year to a year.
Yeah, so I heard of Martin's was at a year and a half right now. I know a bunch of places they say 10 to 12 months. With Bob's, it varies anywhere between 6 and 8 or 10 months most of the time. And I think what's tricky about that is, we tell everybody about the timeline, and then I think people think of it almost like Amazon shipping, where it's like, Amazon shipping is like, oh, it'll be there in 3 days, and sometimes it's there that afternoon. The timeline for a saddle, it kind of means like 6 months is the least amount of time that it will take. Like they cannot possibly get it done until 6 months from now. So why? Do you know why it takes so long?
Because there's a lot of people that all have to line up to make one big product. Mm-hmm. Is the way I always look at it. You got the leather guys tooling, you got the tree maker, you got the silver guy, and with COVID, everybody just got behind. It was hard to keep factory workers going. It was hard to keep the guys in the shop, and everybody was ordering more stuff through COVID, and it just... Once you get behind it, you can't just bring in, you can't bring in a guy to make silver. They either know it or they don't. Mm-hmm. You can't just, get some guy and say, oh, here's your tools, go for it. They're a specialized group. Mm-hmm. So, you kind of have to, unfortunately, that's what it is. If you're going to go custom and you're going to go nice, you don't want some guy that's just learning how to do silver, scratching on the silver and making a design. That's always my opinion of it. Yeah.
When we were at Congress, I looked at a pair of boots that were really nice boots. The lady at Logan Boots was fantastic. And they didn't have the size that I wanted. And so she said, well, if I don't have the size you want, it's 14 months to get a new pair of boots, 14 months to get boots made. And that's changed significantly. Because you've looked at having boots made before, and it was, 6 months? Mm-hmm. Before COVID, it was about 6 months. So I asked her, I said, why? Why is it taking so long to get boots made? Are there still delays on, materials and stuff? Like, I know stainless steel, there's delays on stainless steel and stuff right now, but I don't know what there would be for boots. She said, no, it has nothing to do with the materials. It's just the... craftsmanship. There just are not very many people that can put together, these were Anderson Bean boots. These were like, $600 or $700 boots, and the bottoms, I want to say the bottoms were shark. They're beautiful handmade boots. They just don't have that many people that can do that type of work. So they can't, when there's more demand, they can't amp up production. They're still producing at the same amount of.
And that's a tough gig because, I mean, they want to sell you the product. It's not that they don't.
Oh yeah, I wanted to buy the product, but did I really want to wait 14 months? And that, I think that's what, gets to be so challenging is, do you want to wait that long? So the thing with the saddles, when I've spoken with Bob's before, they've said when there is a change in an order, because what happens when we do a custom order is we put everything together and we try to get it as close as we possibly can to what the finished product is going to be. And we submit it and get it into the queue. That's when the initial payment goes in, get it into the queue, which basically just means it sits in the queue for a couple months until anything starts to happen. We try to get it as close as we can. And then any changes that need to be made, we try to make within 60 days. So anytime that there is a change made, so once that saddle has been approved, anytime that there's a change that's made, it actually has to go through 6 departments to get finalized. So that's why they try not to do changes at all. And they basically won't do them after 60 days because it has to go through so many different people. And like you said, there's, Bob's, the main shop is in Arizona, but they're sourcing trees from one part of the United States and they're sourcing the hides from another part of the United States, and they have a silver worker, and they have, we just did some custom stamp work where we had to have a press plate made. You've probably seen some of the work that we've had done where somebody's had like their name or something put into it. This was actually stamped into the leather, not into the silver. And the people who make those press plates are in California and they have a weight. So you have the weight.
And if any one person is behind, everything gets put behind.
Then everything gets put behind. And then you have the actual assembly of the saddle and trying to get hides that all match and line up and don't have any flaws in them and all that kind of stuff. And then you have the people tooling the saddles. There's only so many people, literally only so many people in the world that are skilled enough to do the hand stitching and the hand tooling on these saddles. So
because I can guarantee you don't want me doing it.
I know, I'm confident that I would do a terrible job.
I have the artistic
as
talent of my dog. Those guys that can do it are amazing. And, well, just like the one saddle that left here this week, I mean, the tooling on it is just incredible what they can do. You just cannot hire somebody off the street to do that.
And it's done, not every saddle is this way. Like some saddles are done by a machine. It's not done by hand. It's just stamped in and it's good to go. So I think you have to remember when you're buying a custom saddle, or at least when you're buying a Bob's Custom Saddle or any of the other really high-end brands, that what you're paying for is expertise in so many different areas to assemble one finished product.
Mm-hmm. And it's neat when it's there. It is neat.
It is neat. If you have an appreciation for it, then it is really neat. And you can tell, when the tooling and the stitching and stuff is done on a saddle where somebody has really put a lot of skill, but also a lot of time and creative energy into it. Like the tooling on the Bob saddles, every single one is different.
Because they're hand.
Because they're done by hand. And, maybe it's the same tooling pattern. One of my favorites is the Paradise Valley tooling. And we have 2 hard seat saddles that are here that have the Paradise Valley, to fully tooled Paradise Valley. But the tooling is different on them because the skirt shapes are different, and they're done by hand, right? So somebody has, if you look at the top of the horn, the horn cap is done differently on each one. Some of them put a little bit more detail on some of the leaves. Some of them put, different parts are a little bit deeper. It's really a skill.
I think it's neat when you see them too. I mean, and there's lots of factory-made custom saddles in that they're stamped. They just take a big press. Anybody can do that. Mm-hmm. But the hand ones are what makes it unique and makes it really cool when they can do that stuff. A lot of kudos to the guys that do that. in the silver work and the rawhide and the leather. You know, I think it's such a neat trade when they do them neat things.
Yeah. And then delays, obviously, like those delays in materials, like I was saying about the stainless steel, or for a little while there were some delays on the antiquing or the finish, the neat lack that they put on the saddles just to finish them off. So, I mean, that's like a whole other cause for delay, right? Is trying to get everything where it's antiqued uniformly on a saddle where different parts of the leather are absorbing a different amount, and just having to take the time and put the product on and let it sit and then buff it off and then come back and look at it later and see how it all absorbed and what pieces need to be touched up. And I know for a little while there were delays on those products, so saddles were just about ready, just needed the final finish on them, and they were sitting there for a while.
I think one thing that's worth mentioning too is like, well, we talk about it in the horse training part. If somebody calls us in the busy season and says, I want horsing right away.
Yeah.
If you find somebody that's not busy, there's a problem. You know, there's a reason that those good saddle makers are booked up. And, you know, they're trying to get their product out to you. That's their business. You know, we have it every year. Somebody will say they don't want to wait, you know, for a horse trainer, but they found somebody that can do it right away. And the saddle makers are the same way. You know, if there's a saddle maker right now that can say they can do it ASAP, you know, to me that's a little scary.
Yeah, what shortcuts are they taking? What, you know?
Sure. And I mean, I rely on some people to get me some stuff done right away if it's a necessity and I can pull a favor, but it's such a hard deal right now with anything custom and anything hand done or hand fixed. You know, and once everybody gets behind just a little bit, it's tough. But they're worth the wait. I mean, and I shouldn't say it. Some people don't want to wait, and that's fine. But the ones that do wait, there are such cool parts to it.
Yeah. I think what happens is like we get so excited, you know, make the order, we say 6 months and we think, oh, that's going to be like, you know, April or May. And then we get waiting and we think, well, maybe it'll be in, you know, by my birthday, which is like middle of April. Well, maybe it'll be in by, you know, I want to start riding. I want to start, you know, and we like kind of back that timeline up a little bit. And it just doesn't go that way. And I get it. It's hard waiting on, it's really hard waiting on a saddle. But once they do come in and you actually see what goes into it, it's a lot easier to understand why it takes so long.
Oh, not everybody's ever had a custom saddle made. I mean,
no, it
is different. But yeah, like, I think everybody does get used to that I want it now mentality. And unfortunately with whether it's us making horses or you guys making saddles, you know, it's definitely just takes time.
Yeah, everything takes time. I get people asking me too, you know, if a saddle comes up, saddle that I designed or, you know, we put up for a stock saddle or something, and they're like, well, why didn't they put pictures of it? Why didn't Bob's put pictures of this on their website? And it's like, well, they don't have time for that also, right? I don't have time for, I got a bunch of these that have come in that have been so nice and I haven't even put them online. There's that, just having the bandwidth for all of that part of it too.
Yeah, well, Bob isn't going to put every single one every single day.
No, they do just over 1,000 saddles a year most years. So, you know, that's like 3 saddles a day. Yeah, that's taking, and they do the photography for all of them, but they don't post everything. It takes a long time to post online. It's time to
I would know.
I was going to say, you post by accident, like you leave your phone on and post something, so that doesn't take a long time, but thinking of music and a caption and hashtags and all that stuff takes a while.
And all my internet savvy.
Yeah, I like how you just played that off. Yeah, that does take a long time. Okay, well, thanks.
I'm going to do one on purpose one of these days.
You're going to post something on purpose?
Yeah.
Why don't you do a saddle?
Sure. How hard could it be?
Yeah.
It'll be ready in 6 months.
Okay, thanks for being here with us, you guys. Hopefully that answers some questions and gives you some insights into the saddle making process. If you have any other questions, we're happy to answer them for you. If you have questions about custom saddles and why the heck you would even design a custom saddle and wait that long, shoot us a message, because we can go through the options with you and kind of talk it over. You can decide if it's something that you want to try to do.
One thing, just from the people that were on here a minute ago, talking about custom things, I just want to say that Phil Waugh, the announcer from Michigan, if anybody ever wants to see some really cool stuff, he does a lot of stuff with wood and awards and stuff. You ever
Yeah,
see
he
his-
does. Yeah, his whiskey
those-
barrel.
Yeah, the whiskey. I really like the
Yeah.
whiskey barrels and seats and stuff. He does some really cool custom.
He
not
and,
all out of
he
wood,
and
but
his wife. Yeah, both.
oh, is it? I don't know it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've met his wife, but if I
Yeah,
have,
she's in the office at Michigan.
well, that's his wife.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did try to stay out of the office, not because of her.
I know. I know.
Or she tries to keep me out of the office. Which one is it? But yeah, very cool stuff. What is he? What is it? It's not Phil. What's his? It's under a name.
The business? Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh shoot!
We'll have to get him to
Yeah.
tag himself.
Here we are, shouting
Yeah.
out somebody, and I
Shouting
can't even
him out.
remember the thing. I just seen
Yeah.
his name pop up there, and
Yeah.
very nice gentleman. Always,
Great announcer.
but he does really cool awards. And I think, we were talking the other day for some of the club show stuff. Personalized awards are so cool. It's great to get a trophy or a halter or whatever, but when you get the really even a halter, but if it's personalized, it's different. Does some really cool stuff. Anyways.
Okay. Thanks for being here with us today, guys. If you have more questions, definitely let us know what those are, and we will see you next week.
Have a good day.